won the toss. They defer, they kick off. Scarlet Knights won against the MAC team here during the week. In week 1, they knocked off Ohio by 3 points. Miami lost at Wisconsin 17-0. Underway in Piscataway. And Miami will begin on their own 25-yard line. And the turnover on the roster when it comes to the offense. Juan Finn, most experienced quarterback in the MAC this year, makes his second start for Miami. Quick completion. The ball was bobbled by Keith Reynolds, and that cost him loss of 1. Well played by the Rutgers defense.
He can throw it down the field, no doubt.
Second down, right back to the air, little pump. Open man on the sideline, goes high for it. And he's upended. That's Keith Reynolds. He has receptions on the first 2 plays. That time picks up 7. 3 consecutive passes. Right through the hands of Deion Colsey, the Notre Dame transfer. Now Greg Schiano running up the sideline here. Rutgers did block a punt in the win last week right here against Ohio. That punt is away. DT Sheffield. Just let that one bounce, and it'll stop just inside of the 25-yard line. Antoine Raymond was the chosen running back last week, and he is to the left of Kaliakmanis. He also right to the air, quickly out of his hands, 1 for 1. Big hit on the 30-yard line. Keep that to a gain of 6. Second down. He starts out 2 for 2. DT Sheffield has the first down of the game.
Just don't keep throwing it outside in short passes.
He was good driving the ball outside the numbers last week against Ohio. Wants to throw again outside the numbers. Right on the money. Pitch and catch to KJ Duff for another first.
Can put a little more torque and speed on it.
And this is Raymond, first touch. Actually, Kaliakmanis kept it. Nice fake. And he picks up 3. One of the first things Greg Schiano said to us yesterday with a laugh. Like the quarterback to get down. On the move, finds a tight end. Miami plays that one well. Colin Weber didn't get much to set up 3rd down. And let's see, 3rd down and 5 right here. Kaliakmanis, well protected. Wow. Can't throw it any better. First catch for Ian Strong, who had 7 grabs last week. That one gets 15. He starts out a perfect 5 out of 5. 1st and 10 from the 30. Raymond, a little cutback, got him 5 yards. Bring up 2nd down 5. Jackson Kuwach, the former Ohio State Buckeye, with the tackle.
High and tight.
As a reason he's with the Chicago Bears right now. 2nd down, sidelines again. Once again, Strong has 2 catches on this drive. And that one gets him 14.
But what you like about a 6'6" guy.
Not a lot of resistance provided yet by this Miami defense.
High coverage.
Ground game, Raymond. Wrapped up, gets just inside the 10. 3rd best running attack in the Big Ten last year. Raymond remains the running back. 10th play of this drive. Kaliakmanis in trouble. Down he goes. Kind of took a knee there at the 13-yard line. Lost 2. Kaliakmanis, end zone, wide open, nice catch, back of the end zone, Ian Strong.
Ian Strong, and he is strong on the outside, number 9. Oh my, they're playing, there you go. What happened? Why was he open? They were expecting another quick throw to the outside. He goes right up the seam. What a catch. There you go. Paul, good to be tall.
Nice to be 6'3", going up and getting it.
Another one.
No one else in the picture. By himself, Jay Patel on for the extra point. Right down the middle. Rutgers' first drive could not have gone any better for that passing game.
I don't know if we've seen this kind of passing attack. we gotta adjust.
Offense leading the way, at least so far here in Rutgers and Phil. Let's take a closer look at what happened Ian Strong, 7 catches last week and 3 to get this game going. Second possession now for Miami. DeQuan Finn quickly to the sideline. First down, Miami. Much better start to this drive.
Good job.
See if they can do much better here today. First and 10 on the 40. Right back to it. Penalty flag comes out just as running up the sideline was Cam Perry. Pardon me, Keith Reynolds. Would be a gain of 15.
Are they going to call holding on Miami on the block? And the answer is yes.
Illegal formation. Offense.
Oh, wow.
5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. First down.
First and 15. They try the ground. Nothing going in the middle. A lot of new starters for the Scarlet Knights. They hold that one to a gain of 1. Close to a score there. Pass game looking good also for Rutgers here. DeQuan Finn lets one go. Receiver wide open at the 20. Sprinting for the end zone, Cam Perry almost got there.
Got caught that time looking for the short pass.
Out of the ground game into the end zone. What a response for Miami. Deshaunte Jones with 6. Dobin with a chance to make this a 7-7 game. Boy, did Miami need that to equalize here today. Yeah, they only had a little over 100 yards last week total, the lowest output in all of FBS. You couldn't tell from that one right there. So transitioning now back to the Rutgers offense.
They got to get a feel for the game and what's going on up front.
Play action to Campbell, well protected. And that's a low ball the first time that Kaliakmanis has missed. He wanted Ian Strong. It was mostly Raymond on the first drive. C.J. Campbell is the back now. Right back to the air, sideline shot. Well, that's a heck of a grab out there right at the sticks. K.J. Tuff, well done. Gains 11. First and 10. Now here's Campbell, met at the line of scrimmage and picks up 1 yard.
He worked hard on throwing the football better, and we're seeing it right here in this game.
Said he's noticing things pre and post snap so much quicker. Notices a first down again right there, this time rolling out to the right. First and 10, 45. With a full head of steam. Nice tackle there at the 50-yard line. Got cut down by the cornerback. Caleb Martin picked up 5. Right at the 50-yard line, 2nd and 5. Now moving to his left and in trouble. Nifty move. Kaliakmanis
Very nice.
with his feet for a first down.
Kept both hands on the football the whole time.
Now working inside of Miami territory.
Did you ever have a coach say that to you, get down? They said, no, get the extra yard.
They just told me not to run, period, Phil. Inside the 40 for 5, that's Jay Sean Benjamin. The third part of this 3-man rotation.
Especially when you're throwing the ball well.
And throwing it really well. Sideline, well, we have seen that time and time again. Ian Strong with that cushion on the sideline gets 9 and another first.
Don't miss the tackle and give up extra yards.
Boy, why not? Right back to the air. Here comes a blitz. He avoided the big loss, got a couple there. Rutgers scored on their first drive. Miami scored its first touchdown of the season as a response. Greg Schiano and Athan Kaliakmanis with a conversation, and Chuck Martin feeling better. Heading into the second quarter.
Tight coverage on the field by Miami.
Tailback is C.J. Campbell. They've been pass heavy, and that is a bullet right on the money for another first down. Ian Strong is having himself a first half.
Just yelling at him.
They were on him yesterday. It was not a casual run-through. Kaliakmanis, back shoulder. Incomplete. Went right back to Strong and couldn't quite pull it in. Caleb Martin, nice coverage. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's right.
2nd and 10. The Miami run defense has been pretty good so far. Campbell got back to the line of scrimmage, give him about a half a yard to bring up 3rd and long. Rocca, the offensive coordinator for Rutgers. Tough call here.
Tight coverage again.
Kaliakmanis stands in. A little too much there, and a flag comes in late. The
Holding. Defense, number 17. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Well, they took him out. Here we go, right here. Yeah, he rode it way too long, got his left arm wrapped around. That was a good call. Chuck Martin goes, oh my gosh, we had him where we wanted him.
Yeah, he's trying to change that. Kaliakmanis, end zone. Second down.
Yeah, that was a bad read by Kaliakmanis that time.
Rolling through the hands of DT Sheffield. Well, he was thinking about sprinting for that pylon.
Everybody near the line of scrimmage on the defensive side.
Kaliakmanis in trouble. Down he goes. Linebacker blitz. Jackson Kuwach got him. 39 yards out. Jay Patel has made 15 consecutive field goals here. That's a school record. And go ahead and make it 16 in a row. Daquan Finn waiting for the chance. They won't even try to bring that one back. We'll come out to the 25. Phil, he was not protected well in Madison for week 1.
Rutgers blitzing.
Steps up. Little floater. A diving effort. And that's a heck of a catch. Cam Perry picks up 13.
That was a strange 5 minutes.
Felt like 5. I think it was only a couple.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Bottom line, Miami on the move once again like they were in the last drive. Finn keeps it. Good idea. There he goes. Daquan Finn. Big run near the 20-yard line. Eventually, Salam brought him down.
Show how mobile he is.
He's approaching 2,000 career rushing yards after that run. Deep inside of Rutgers territory, little flip. That was well played out of the flat. Keith Reynolds catch, tackled by Abram Wright. Here's Zora. It was a great part of the conversation that we had with Chuck Martin this week about his new quarterback. And taking his time right here, he said, you get a transfer quarterback with success, now the whistle blows. You saw the stat there. He's accounted for more touchdowns than any player in the NCAA. Just ran for a bunch of yards and now going to get some here too. Down near the 10-yard line, the immediate acceleration gets 9. And he said he's been the exact opposite. Right. Wants to be coached, and he's really enjoying that. Finn floats it. Nice catch. Penalty flag came in. And another one at the end of the play. Would be a catch for gain of 8.
The offense. Holding. Offense number 78. That bully's decline. Pass interference. Offense number 86. That 15-yard penalty of force for the previous spot remains first down.
And the completion to Kenny Tracy, he was the inside there. Now the big tight end, and they were going to be inside the 5, and now they're at the 25. Finn, look out, picked off, and now a race to the end zone. Bo Masco. Inside the 15. Nice hustle, Daquan Finn. Boy, you could see that one coming, Phil, the second it left his hand.
We can see it from up here, yes, and he was sitting out there the whole time. Daquan Finn, I think, just didn't see it clean enough. Ball goes exactly where he wants to go, and Masco just makes the undercuts, gets the interception, and good hustle by the quarterback to stop him short of the touchdown. Oh, it was a great job. Chuck the outside receiver, fall off, be the short coverage guy.
Finn did a lot of running on that drive, had a run for over 60 yards, and he's the one that prevented that touchdown. Tackled him like he knew what he was doing, too. All right, Kaliakmanis keeps it. And he gets down to the 5-yard line. They are using those wheels that Coach Schiano told us about yesterday. He got 7. That time gives to Raymond. He's in trouble. He gets away and got down to the 1. Impressive run.
Carries for 88 yards. So he might be the running back you need to give more carries to make plays like he just did.
Give him another there, and he pays off. Antoine Raymond with his second touchdown of the season. Puts Rutgers on top 16-7.
You know, Paul, much better job by the offensive line.
Oh, and one extra point already. And a chance to put his team up by 10. Scarlet Knights now up 17-7. The coaches talk a lot about complementary football.
Hey, why didn't you hit me so I could see how I look?
I was pointing to you. Look good.
Really? Okay, yeah, you're lying.
The shot was from a long way away.
That's okay. I believe you now.
You didn't hear that?
No, I did not. Be able to get back in rhythm and get rid of that thought in his head.
Gives to Kenny Tracy. He gets 3 on first down. And they've been in this spot one time so far, Phil, and that's needing to respond. They were down 7-0. Keeps it himself again and gets him awfully close. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Making a lot more plays, of course.
Real chance to show that physicality now on 3rd and short. Tracy hit the backfield, and it's Rutgers winning the physical battle that side. Loss of 2. Standing on his own 18 to DT Sheffield.
That was a penalty. Moving forward before the ball was snapped.
Ball start. Offense number 46. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
4 penalties now against Miami, and still 0 for Rutgers.
Seattle special teams, punting, kicking extra points, blocking them, no surprise.
Almost got there that time. DT Sheffield. Fair catch on the 29. Right back to the air. He's done this a few times today, and that's take off, and that time he only got a couple yards.
Little different coverage that time, Paul. Buddy close to open for the quarterback.
2nd down. Sideline. Going up to get it for a first. That's been a theme here for Rutgers. 9-yard gain to Duff.
Great example of how I want to make a play.
Kaliakmanis once again favoring the wide receivers. All but one of his completions going to his wideout so far. 1st and 10. Sheffield, just an easy pickup of 5 there on 1st down. And who doesn't love 2nd and 5?
Oh, absolutely. Trust each other.
Up the middle now. Kaliakmanis kept it himself, picks up a 1st. And looks to be off to a good start here in his 2nd season. Start for the Scarlet Knights. Run it back inside. You get 3 there to bring up 2nd down.
Did I do wrong? He wasn't blaming anybody. Nothing like being comfortable, knowing the offensive coordinator knows what you really like and can call plays accordingly.
Nice pocket. A little low there for Sheffield. Brings up 3rd down and 7. And that was the kind of pass that he offered up quite a bit in Minnesota a couple of years ago. At 3rd down, they need 7. 3 wideouts to his right. Over the middle. 1st down. Time and accuracy for 11 yards.
Well, just watch how the pocket collapses, though. And he stood in there and made the throw.
And that's Dante Chin, their left tackle. He is the most inexperienced of the group up front. Making his 7th career start.
Had a really good camp for Rutgers. They were very excited about what he could do this year for him, and especially when you're talking about the left tackle.
Good to see Chin up. Walking under his own power. More about the air than the ground. 1st and 10. Another pass. Right on target inside the 20. Strong with another one. Right on the chest for 16.
Being accurate are one of the secrets.
Now they run it. Campbell has a lane. end zone. A lot of room there to the left side to set up 1st and goal. He got 18.
That's what you want to see from a running back. 70 yards last week for Campbell, but we block it well. Okay, there it is. Now, help us out, break the tackle, and just run through them. Boy, nice job, Campbell. Strong, hold that football high and tight.
Right back on the line. Campbell, another touchdown. A late flag comes in. Right about when he was crossing the goal line.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Or Sept.
Well, the good news is Dante Chin is back in the game after being out with an injury, but bad news is he just cost him a touchdown. Kaliakmanis, end zone, touchdown! KJ Duff, nice catch.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. That penalty decline. Result of the play. Touchdown.
A really strong throw from Kaliakmanis. And Duff just turns around, gets both hands on, like a back shoulder pretty much, but gets both hands on it and makes the catch. And the high school teammates are tearing it up.
You got 6'6", 1-1 against a 6'2" cornerback. It's not a bad idea. Jay Patel makes it 24-7. Is this true?
It is true. And all I can say to you is good luck.
That's what he said to me about you.
Did he say that?
No, I just made that up.
That's right. In field goal position.
Good protection initially, now flushed out. Lets it go. Wow, what a play.
Wow, that's right.
Big gain down to the 45. Right back on the ball. Steps up, in trouble. Somehow got away. He's got room. Daquan Finn inside of Rutgers territory. Clock stops, picks up 13. 1st and 10, 45. Steps up. That ball was tipped right when it came out of his hand. Now Rutgers thinks that was a fumble, but the ball was knocked down after he passed it. And he's 7 out of 10. He's doing this well. Dives to the 40. They do have the one timeout. 3rd and 5. One Finn. Well, he's going to get away again. 1st down plus. Slides at the 27. 18 seconds left. The clock will stop momentarily while they set the chains.
In position to kick a field goal to give him some momentum going in.
Take the easy one to the sideline. Now he's got to get out of bounds.
The slot guy could be a chance too.
Finn's averaging over 10 yards per carry if he decides to keep it. Puts it up. Got a man. Deion Colsey almost. Snap and hold good. Jobin. And right down the middle stays perfect from inside of 40 yards. 2 seconds left, and now the lead is 14. His first touch of the season.
Fumble.
Now, there's a fumble there. There's no time left.
No time, yes.
Those 2 seconds had already expired.
Hard to do.
Yeah, find a way to make Athan Kaliakmanis uncomfortable. He has been awfully comfortable in that first half. Ben Black back deep. He will let that one go. And Rutgers will begin from the 25. Daquan Finn, he's accounted for 98% of their total yards so far. Kaliakmanis wants to go deep. And it's dropped there by his tight end, Kenny Fletcher. Right up the middle. gashed them across the 30 to bring up 3rd down and 4. And Phil, being more aggressive for Miami defensively. 1 out of 10 on 3rd down last week. Converted 3 out of 4 so far. Kaliakmanis, watch out. And he'll run for it. And that's going to be close. Looks like he got about a half a yard past it. Yes, he did. 1st down. They kept it. Kaliakmanis been doing that pretty well today. Picks up 4.
Aggressive.
He's been their most popular runner so far already with 10 carries. That's a nice move by Benjamin to get it back past the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 4. Now the blitz. Kaliakmanis tucked away. Wanted Colin Weber. Well, big run up, punt away from Anderson. And a fair catch, difficult catch by Phillips Williams. Miami's defense does its job. They lost them. They were on their way to a touchdown, and Rutgers scored because of that pick. Miami's first play of the 2nd half. Down the middle. Wide open man is Keith Reynolds. Down to the 15.
Gets the tackle to stop the touchdown.
Boy, just like that, inside the 20. Kenny Tracy. Good pickup on 1st down. Gets him just inside the 10.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why was he so wide open.
They're holding up. They're going to let Rutgers get their substitution in. 1 D lineman in and 1 out. And now Miami just called timeout. Ball, the average 14 yards per carry in the 1st half. On the move. End zone. Batted away. Cam Miller, the transfer from Penn State, got a hand on it.
Was way out of bounds. Is that where he threw it?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 10 for taunting. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. 1st half.
That's Jacoby Henderson, the transfer.
Excellent job. Hand between the hand of the Miami's receiver. Knock it down. And I think it's Henderson, number 10.
Yeah, that was against him. He played at Marshall last year. 19 starts there, so that's someone who's played a lot of football. Our rules analyst, Reggie Smith, back in the studio, just said he does agree with the call. 1st and goal. Finn, can he get back? Yes, he did!
Wow, what a drive. What a play by Finn there.
Holding, defense. That penalties to Connor. Result of the play, touchdown.
Touchdown.
Good play action or good fake inside. Yep, he made it.
Wow. And he makes it a 24-17 game. But had to break a late tie to get that 3-point win. And we'll see where this one goes here this afternoon. Ben Black. Little seam up the middle, spins out. And a nice return for Rutgers out to the 35. The injured player we saw just before the break, Luke Myers, 6'1", 215 junior. Rutgers' 2nd possession of this half. They're up 7. Kaliakmanis, little pitch and catch, getting his tight end involved. Excellent finish by Kenny Fletcher to pick up a 1st.
Kenny Fletcher, they don't throw to the tight end much, but that time he just hooks it up in the middle.
That's 2 catches now from tight ends. 2 passes in a row, into coverage and incomplete. Intended for Ian Strong.
More aggressive a little bit as time has gone in the 2nd quarter and here.
Leading rusher for Rutgers has been their quarterback. Kaliakmanis takes off once again, and that time only got back to the line of scrimmage. This sets up a 3rd and 10.
Got the blitz look up there, that's for sure.
Brought for Kaliakmanis, sideline. Sheffield right at the sticks and just enough for a 1st. Showing blitz once again. Now they bring it. Dumps it out of the backfield. Raymond. Nice move.
Well, that time it was Antoine Raymond.
A good read right there. Now they hand it to Raymond. Picks his way to another first down. Patience and footwork there gets him 12. Colin Weber, his tight end. First and 10 on the 21. Raymond, trouble in the backfield, goes down. Penetration right away. Phil, the safety blitz got there, loss of 1. Second down, 10. Kaliakmanis lays it off. Raymond tries to cut it back, but swarmed under. They wanted to catch and run, didn't have much run. Kaliakmanis over the middle, nice catch. Ian Strong, touchdown Rutgers. Also did it last week, now has a couple of touchdowns. And Jay Patel pushes that Rutgers lead back to 2 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns and no picks. And Miami will begin at the 25-yard line.
But they execute well enough to get the touchdown.
See if they can solve the Quan Finn. He's going up top again into coverage. Lucky that one wasn't fixed. Miami's had no ground game outside of Quan Finn. Kenny Tracy trying to muscle for a couple extra. They've converted 1 out of 3 on 3rd down. Finn. There's a catch and a run. Penalty marker comes raining in. Down at the 40-yard line goes Cam Perry.
Pass interference. Offense, number 4. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Head coach, Miami. Both penalties to be enforced. 3rd down.
Boy, he's got to be careful. Would have been a huge pickup for a first down. They called Deion Colsey, the Notre Dame transfer.
Right.
Offensive pass interference.
And now from his own end zone. Finn gets some of it back. First catch of the day for Weaver. Well, that was a huge sequence. What would have been a big pickup on 3rd down. Being taken away. Punt is away. DT Sheffield will have a chance here. Makes it out to the 42-yard line. Reggie, thank you for that.
You know the rules a lot better than I do, Reggie, that's for sure. But
Kaliakmanis wants Duff. Oh, knocked away at the last second by Caleb Martin.
great timing by Martin.
2 straight passes. If he gets it off, that counts as a sack. Near the sideline, and see if Athan finds that again. Sets up, sideline. Boy, if that was caught, that's a heck of a catch.
The coverage was great.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
That's against Silas Walters, 5th-year senior. Toured up at North Texas last year, his first year at Rutgers. Right up the middle, Campbell. Campbell remains the tailback. And he gets it again. And he's got a first down.
Some of these games against the Big Ten, it's going to be rough.
Now it's Raymond, and this time he's wrapped up and thrown down right at the line of scrimmage. Even their backup has a good amount of reps. Kaliakmanis. Contacts, 2 flags. 3 flags.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Kaliakmanis, well protected, inside the 10, a little bit too much out in front of DT Sheffield. 21 out of 31 right now. Raymond, redirected, and nice power there inside the 25-yard line. Could have been thrown for a loss, but he got 7. Is that patience or more vision? I know you were a quarterback who didn't run much, but could have gone either way. Short completion there to one of the tight ends, Kenny Fletcher.
I marvel at these. Beat us or win the game, or do you go for it?
I'm going to answer that right now. 2 seconds left. Boy, Miami all over it. They were ready and they stuffed it. Devin Bell for a loss of 3. And that's how the third quarter comes to an end.
The ball was snapped at the 1 second mark in the third quarter. Therefore, the down will count. And it's a turnover and downs. First down, Miami.
Okay, so they were taking a look at the clock. That was referee Billy Williams. And as we just saw, the play was snapped before it went to zeros. He has been Mr. Everything for this offense so far. To pass, shoots one. Brings up second down 10. They wanted Keith Reynolds. They've hooked up pretty well here today. Back-to-back passes. Sideline. Accurate toss. Timeout. Now the penalty marker was thrown just as he called a timeout. Finn stumbling as he throws. Wow! Connection to Keith Reynolds for the first. Lead the entire way. Right now they're up 14. DeQuan Finn. Sideline connects. Deion Colsey, they've been trying to get him the ball all day. Tracy, the tailback, but the chosen runner for Miami so far has been the quarterback. Tracy drilled before he got to the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and a long one. Finn just got that off. Kept it. Can't get out of trouble. Rutgers swarmed him in the backfield. Big loss.
He condensed the offense, just made it tougher and easier. Tougher on them, easier on Rutgers.
I thought they might go for it there on fourth down, Phil. And the ball will roll dead.
No, you know, Paul, over 12 minutes ago, it's still 2 scores. That's my strength.
You guys were up a lot, too. Jayshon Benjamin, the tailback. He is the third back. Good, strong run there to get this drive started at 4. Kaliakmanis. Well, they break that play to the tight end. This is the best one yet. Colin Weber, with his first catch, picks up 7 yards. You're connected to this?
Not even a clue.
Come on. Good run right up the middle. That's a jump cut by Jayshon Benjamin. And picked up 1 or 2. Kaliakmanis over the middle. It's pretty. Well, that has been his guy, Ian Strong, having a day. First and 10 on the 45. Campbell is the back. He's got nowhere to go. Loss of 4 yards there. Inside 100 yards at this point of the game. It's pretty good work. Second down. Kaliakmanis takes a shot. Strong. Boy. Yeah. 2 flags, 3 flags come in. Adrian Walker. Awfully handsy. Yeah, not a difficult call right there.
Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Ian Strong, I mean, he's not happy with it that he got a penalty. He wanted that free arm to catch the ball. They're doing things that they don't usually do. Tight man-to-man is not their calling card.
Antoine Raymond up to the 35-yard line. Good pickup on first down. Trying to win as they're swinging above their weight. Raymond, nice gash inside. First down, Rutgers.
think, just to go back to that real quick, Paul, I think they've done things here today that they wouldn't usually do, even against these Big Ten teams, but he kind of saw it, like we got a chance. It's close. All we got to do is make a couple plays, and I think that kept them going on the aggressive side to give them a chance to win. But like you said, a great thought out of their character doing this.
The game and up by 2 touchdowns. Jay-Sean Benjamin is the tailback that's come back in. He's been in the backfield. Just got back to the line of scrimmage. Eli Blakey, one of the leaders there at safety. 5th-year senior makes the play. Well, they have been sending those safeties into the backfield a fair amount. Blakey and Walters getting back into the run with this kind of lead at this point in the game. 9th play of this drive. Now he wants to throw. Kaliakmanis takes a shot, and another connection. KJ Duff sets him up 1st and goal.
Listen, how easy did that look? That was on the mark, make the receiver turn. As I talked about earlier, let's see if he turns completely around. Turn, yep, make the catch. Not much the defensive back can do. Great throw by Kaliakmanis. And these receivers are growing up.
6'6", going up against 6'1". Pretty good matchup for the Scarlet Knights. Kaliakmanis just milking the clock now. Back to the air, well protected. What a catch!
Wow, what a throw, what a catch.
TT Sheffield fingertip grab for 6.
I think the one thing we've answered here today, we like the wide receivers.
You like them coming in, too.
Yeah, I like them coming in, but this has really been impressive. And this throw was impressive, too. Right on the money.
Oh, cut the back half. We've seen this a number of times here in the second half. One hash to the other sideline and putting it right where he wants it to be.
I'll tell you what makes it easy for these guys to catch that football is the rotation that Kaliakmanis puts on it.
Patel's extra point right down the middle. Now the largest lead for Rutgers.
Yeah, good for him. Had a chance to talk to him a little bit today. Happy as can be.
Pretty good at it, too, on Sportscaster of the Year. Good himself, but this offense is slowed down here. Penalty marker. You see the play clock going down to 0.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Look, Paul, go back to that drive by Rutgers.
Yeah, a lot of run, a little bit of pass there at the end. Finn completed the 25, and a good tackle to keep him right there. Finn. Almost picked, but this will be a big gain. Out of bounds just before he got to the midfield stripe. That's Keith Reynolds. 5 minutes left in this game. Colsey, he's out of bounds. Four-man rush on 2nd and 10. Finn escapes one, but not all of them. Sept at the 43. Need a bunch here. 3rd down and 15. Four-man rush again. Let's see if he can run for it. And he slides at the 47. Oh, they actually said the slide started at the 49. Needs 9. Not going to happen. They came back to Athan Kaliakmanis. Been the man from the get-go. C.J. Campbell up the middle. And that last scoring drive. Right?
In the game. Very crisp throwing.
Ground game just going to take over from here. Inside the 40-yard line goes Campbell. Completion percentage.
Right.
And it's only 2 games. And it's against MAC opponents, but he's up near 80% for his 2-game total. Raymond looking for a hole, finds a little bit. Nice job of keeping his feet, and here he goes. Antoine Raymond down to the 5. 34-yard run.
Well, Chuck has now settled down a little bit.
Raymond sprinting for the goal line, and he gets back. Rutgers piling it on here in this fourth quarter.
Well, I think I heard up here somebody says the Rutgers are probably nil on the ball, but that didn't happen. Talked to the referees. I think he was like going, hey, you know, come on, it's all good. It's just the way it is.
45-17. So Miami is about to fall to 0-2, and Phil, they have been in spots like this before. They're big, they're physical, they're not fancy, they're more blue-collar than they are extravagant. He said, but they have Big Ten athletes.
Yes. Well, we've seen that tonight for Rutgers.
For Miami has once started his career. Limited action last year. And he'll run these final handful of plays here for Miami. That's Deshaunte Jones.
You know, not to be funny, but, you know, I ran for...
Rutgers never trailed in this one. They scored in their first possession just like they did last week against Ohio. 20 total games. And they'll go back to the drawing board looking for that first victory of the season. And that'll be it. Rutgers in control from the start, leaning on their fifth-year senior quarterback, Athan Kaliakmanis. A career-high 4 touchdown passes. And Greg Schiano and his Scarlet Knights up to 2-0 on the season.
Well, you know, since we did this game today and got to know Chuck Martin and everything, I'm going to follow Miami pretty close this year, just to see how it works out with everything he said and what you were just talking about.
Yeah, it's hard to spend too much time with Chuck Martin and not like him.
Oh, yeah, it was... I'm being serious. When we interviewed him, it was almost like talking to a stand-up comic.
Greg Schiano seeking out the quarterback, Daquan Finn, and shaking his hand for a job well done.
Yeah.